Hey, are you like me and potentially most of the other people in the world and are really into taking screenshots with your smartphone? In my case, it's an Apple iPhone. I do screenshots of recipes, of just things that represent ideas that I might want to think about. Lately, I've been screenshotting, motivational things or things that I might want to think about regarding my professional life or my personal life. And I have lots and lots of screenshots now on my phone. And I really started thinking about it this week as I was taking, six screenshots of this. It was interesting. I was taking screenshots of a reel, which sounds kind of interesting, but it had like four or five points that I really liked. So I was taking a screenshot of each point, and it occurred to me that at some point I probably need to do something with all of these screenshots. And that is the subject of this week's podcast. And this is episode 64 of Handled Ish: Productivity for the Imperfect, a weekly podcast for those who want to elevate their productivity but are not looking for perfection. I'm Betsy Hayes, and I'm your host, and I'm really happy you're here with me because maybe you can help me and everyone else solve the problem of the screenshots. So, first of all, let's kind of talk about why we do this, right? So for me, and I think for a lot of people, it's just a very quick way to save something that you might want to deal with later. Again, as I mentioned, the way I do it is there's a lot of screenshots of recipes. There's screenshots of, different things that, really speak to me and I want to think about them later, mostly personal, but sometimes professional. Sometimes it's a motivational quote. Sometimes it's literally like, you take a picture of something in the grocery store. And it's like, okay, well, eventually I might want to make something with said item. The problem for most of us, at least for me, for the most part, is then we never go back and review said screenshots. And then we look and we have gazillions of photos on our phone, and most of them aren't even actually photos like that we want to keep or print or, digitize or whatever. So, yeah. So a couple of things I've been thinking about with this. A few months ago, I tried to have Pinterest be my solution because one of the things that drives me crazy about the iPhone is when you put stuff in albums, they're still in your main photo feed. And that is not what I want. If I want put something in an album, I just want it to live in the album. I don't want it to be with every other photo as well. And so that's really frustrating to me. So Apple, if you are listening, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who would love you more if I could just put stuff in albums and then they could live there for the specific purpose of that name of the album. So, because of this, I thought, well, what I could do is I could go on Pinterest and I could make secret boards and I could put stuff by category and then it would be at least organized, right? My screenshots would be organized. So then when I felt like dealing with the recipe thing, um, or visiting one more time or two more times some motivational stuff, at least they would all be organized because right now in my photos for my iPhone everything is a hot mess, right? It's all a big hodgepodge. And that didn't work because Pinterest isn't really designed for that. In fact, full disclosure, my oldest daughter really made fun of me. She's like, Mom, I'm pretty sure that's not the solution, and I don't think it's going to work. And she was right. I was able to put stuff in categories, but then again, accessing and Pinterest, it just wasn't what I wanted. So I stopped that and I've been thinking about what I want to try next. And so this week I went through and I spent about a half hour just going through. I just randomly started in January. And I just kind of, no, actually, I started randomly in January of 24. I went back and I thought, okay, well, this has been long enough that, maybe I could do some really good purging. And so I'm going through and I'm saying, oh, wow, that recipe still looks good. And this quote is still something I might want to revisit. But I did delete a lot of stuff. And so I think maybe that's suggestion number one is when you're going to do purge, maybe start with things that are quite a while ago. And more than likely, you will not want to keep most of them. And so I did get rid of a lot, which was great. And then afterwards, I was reflecting and I thought, okay, well, especially with these like things to think about or motivational quotes or again, screenshots of reels, like these are the 4 steps to do X or whatever. And what I want to do with those. Because obviously the whole idea of screenshotting was for them to help me in some way. So I thought of two things. The first one is I bought a journal. It's very pretty. It's yellow. And I'm going to, again, starting from a year, 2 years ago, kind of go through. And if said words still really speak to me, my goal is to put them in this journal. So then the whole journal can be full of things that I can reference at a particular point that sounds good for me. And the rest of them, I'm just going to read. I figure I'll just read them twice. I'll just take a moment to think about them, maybe internalize them, and then delete. One of the things I'm finding is a lot of these things are saying the same thing, just in different ways, which clearly means that this is something that I really wanted to think about or to try or to, have a mind shift about. And that's also been really cool, especially when I look back a year and a half ago, because I'm able to go, wow, okay, I'm seeing tons of patterns that obviously were a big deal at that particular moment. Are they still something that I want to internalize or have a mind shift? I'm having a hard time with that today. Mindset shift. If so, maybe that whole idea, right, needs to go in this journal. And then, I don't need to have it said 46 different ways. I find it amusing that clearly there were certain things that were resonating, and then everything else can be deleted. So this is my plan, and I'm pretty excited about it. I feel that this will work based on my little experimental purge, because there was some stuff I just really wanted to just kind of chew on a little bit more, right? And those are the things that are going to go in the journal. Everything else, again, I will read it. I will say thank you for being something that's helpful to me in the moment, and then delete it, wish it well, right? So that's my plan. And then as far as photos are concerned, I used to go through every couple of years and purge everything ridiculously and then print whatever ones I wanted to print. When the kids were still at home, I had photo albums. This time I think I might probably adopt the photo box. I am someone who really does like going through printed photos. It's also fun, if you want to put something in a frame or whatever, and then, figure out some better digital storage situation, whether that is I want to investigate Amazon photos, maybe Flickr, maybe there's a better app, but some way to again organize them so they go into a folder of, maybe it's a particular period of time or a particular period of event, and then they're not in my main feed because that drives me nuts. So sharing those thoughts, maybe something will be helpful. Maybe not, because these are not fully formed thoughts. But hopefully, maybe it would, if this is a struggle that you have also, maybe this is something that can help inspire you to figure out what the heck to do with all your screenshots. Also, would super love if folks have better ideas than the ones I'm going to be working with. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Social media at Betsy Hays, BetsyHays. My website, betsyahays.com. And until next time, please take care of yourself. Enjoy. I'm looking forward to visiting with you on the next episode of Handled Ish, Productivity for the Imperfect. And please remember, be kind to yourself because you are doing way better than you think you are. Trust me.